Hey, everybody. Welcome to KT Confidential, the real estate podcast. This is episode 294. And today we are discussing people's favorite, least regretted upgrades they ever did in their home.
Best intro ever.
From $20 to $20,000. If you're considering doing some upgrades, you'll want to listen or watch everything we have to say today. Thank you. How are you?
I'm great.
Good.
Do I get a welcome back?
How was the cottage?
It was super.
Good. Welcome back.
I only took one day off.
Yeah, but you were up there for a few days, so you got to enjoy the weather. It was a nice week.
The weather sucked.
Oh, well, it was amazing here.
The one day that was nice was Wednesday, and that's the day I took off. So that was good. That was really nice because I very seldomly have a day off where I shut it all down, right? Like not checking emails, not checking texts, nothing.
Yeah,
and
that's good.
I basically put my phone away, threw on some sunscreen, went down to the dock with my book, went for a nice swim.
You know, you should get a little bit of time without the sunscreen to get absorbed the vitamin D and...
Yeah, I do.
That's good.
Yeah, I do in the morning, sit outside with the coffee. Yeah.
Yeah, good. I did like 20 minutes in the sun on the weekend.
Yeah. Well, it depends who you talk to, right? Like dermatologists will tell you never let the sun see your skin without UV protection.
I don't know if that's true or not. I don't ever ask.
Sure, it's true.
Maybe.
That's the whole point of sunscreen.
No, because they are big advocates of vitamin D as well.
You're still getting the vitamins.
No, you're not.
Sure you are.
No, you're not.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just making that up, but I don't think you are.
You want to
maybe somebody can chime in and tell us.
Yeah.
No. So today, actually, well, while you were away last week, Steve Ciccato joined the podcast. So that was nice to have somebody else in this environment.
In the kitchen.
Yeah. When you say in the kitchen, I think of...
Hey, we've got big news coming soon.
I think of pickleball because I've been playing pickleball lately and you can't go into the kitchen
lately,
until the ball
by lately,
has bounced.
You mean you've played twice?
No, I've been out like half a dozen times.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, I got a racket. Alicia's got a racket. I've got several people I know now that are playing. So it's good exercise and it's fun.
Good.
Anyway, so today, recently someone sent me a link to an article about I don't remember how it was worded, but it's a weird way it was worded. But basically it was the least regretted upgrades people did. So the upgrades people did that they were most happy they did.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about that today.
Like a brand new construction?
No, not necessarily. It's not house type specific. It's just upgrades in general.
Okay.
Some of them are bigger. Some of them are smaller. And I think a lot of the smaller ones are the neat ones that people don't think about doing. And in our industry, we experience a lot of times where homeowners will do upgrades for the purpose of selling and then be like, oh, should have done that 10 years ago.
I've been meaning to do it.
Yeah. So some of these kind of fall in line with that. And some of them are super affordable, like $20 or something.
So we're doing this in a 2-part episode. Is that right?
Yeah. So next week, we're going to talk about the upgrades people they wish they hadn't done, basically.
All right. So this week, it's the ones that they really
were happy with. Yeah.
And next week, the ones that
wish they didn't do.
They really hate.
And hopefully that discussion will save people from making the same mistake.
Personal preferences, though.
But either way, we'd also appreciate the audience telling us their experiences about their favorite or least favorite upgrades as well.
I'm sure there's a bunch that we're not even going to talk about. So
for this one, I turned to Reddit because it's always a great source for feedback. And there was several comments about favorite upgrades. So I'm just going to read through them. We can talk about them at our own. So the first one was best bang for your buck was adding a second rail in the closet. I lowered the existing one and added a second one near the top. It doubled space for hanging clothes, cost maybe $20. And that's so true. All of my closets at home are still builder basic closets.
I'm surprised. You haven't tackled that.
It's on my list.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
It's on my list.
It'll get done in 2037.
Yeah. Don't talk to Alicia about that. Actually, she sent me a funny video the other day about woodworkers, and they're all talking about it. Oh, I've got the perfect piece of scrap wood in the garage for that because I've got all this stuff in the garage.
Do you?
Yeah. Anyways, this is
But it's not hard to go to Home Depot and grab the Rubbermaid shelving and whatever and just throw some.
Oh, no, you got to build it. I got to build it.
Oh, you got to build it.
Yeah, but this is a good point.
So you'd rather have nothing.
Yeah. But here is a great example. You don't need anything
It's a
fancy.
great point.
You just get a basic rail and screw it into the
I got to tell you, so in our closets, you know me, I'm not a builder. I don't like to build things like that. So I would never try and tackle a job of building my own cabinetry or shelving or whatever. I would go, I did in our basement, in the den in the basement or my office. We have a double closet. And there was no shelving because when we finished the basement, they made the closet but didn't put any shelving in. And I went to Rona and I grabbed those Rubbermaid, kind of like what the builder wire shelving are.
Yeah.
And I customized it specifically for that size. And it's got different levels, so you can put shirts on the bottom and some shelving, so you can have like I got some bins to put socks and things like that you're not using, like seasonal stuff, and tuck those away. So that's a great point because
you can easily double or triple the capacity of it.
An average home builder will just put one wire shelf at the most awkward height all the way around. Yeah. You raise that up a bit, add a second level, and all of a sudden you double your space. So one of the best investments I made, I had California shutters. Have you ever seen my? I
don't like California shutters.
Not California shutters. California closets.
Oh, California closet. Yeah, that's a proper custom closet.
They did such a nice job and utilized the space so well. You got the different pullouts, and
options are endless. There.
Options are endless.
Belt racks, tie racks, shoe racks.
Yes.
Lockable jewelry cabinets, glass doors, whatever.
Soft close,
lighting,
hampers that tuck away. It's fantastic.
Yeah, those are good options. But
expensive.
Right. You're talking thousands versus a few $20. Yeah.
I don't believe it was $20, by the way.
Could have been American. So call it $26.
Yeah, American at the Goodwill store.
This is for a rack.
Anyway.
A rod. One rod.
What is he hanging? A shower curtain rod in his closet?
You could probably buy like an 8-foot rod for $20.
Okay.
$26 plus tax. Here's another one.
I think you'd be better off putting a shelf that you can hang from.
Because you just put that you can hang from.
Well, like what a builder would put in.
Well, I think that's what he did.
You said he just got a rod.
What do you mean? How do you hang from a shelf? A shelf you put things on. A rod you hang from.
Shelf that you, like the Rubbermaid ones, they've got like the hanging provision built into the shelf.
Sure.
Anyway.
Here's another one. They gave a big and a small. The big one is removing a wall and renovating a kitchen. Okay, though that's a bit vague, but obviously a nice new kitchen is great. Small.
Robin did that at her house. Did you see the final product there?
Yeah, that looks good.
Looks fantastic.
I mean, nobody's going to regret upgrading their kitchen unless they make bad choices, which is in among these.
A lot of people make bad choices.
Small item, replacing all the light switches,
especially with their
outlets.
backsplashes.
Yes, replacing all of the light switches and outlets with modern ones makes a huge difference. And this is important. It makes a huge difference. And those are the little things you touch, feel, /see every day.
You feel your light fixtures?
Switches.
Oh, the switches.
Yes. And I think that's a big one. If you go into an older home, especially, even builder basic ones.
Right.
So mine, to elaborate on that more, like all of my light switches, except for 2, for some reason I cheaped out on 2. So I got 38 light switches. 36 of them are smart. Yeah, that was...
As opposed to stupid?
Yeah. Those stupid ones don't do things for themselves.
So you have smart switches everywhere in the home.
Yes.
Are they all doing something smart?
Yes.
Give me examples.
Well, my home has been kind of smartified, we'll say. So
Smartified.
TM. I replaced the motherboard for my alarm system with this smart alarm system motherboard.
Yeah, sounds like an average DIY.
Yeah, so now every sensor in my house is manageable. So as it pertains to lights, when you open my front door, the sensor that detects if the door's open on the alarm system tells the front foyer light to turn on if it's after sunset. And it stays on for 5 minutes.
That's nice.
Yeah. The front light turns on the porch outside at sunset as well, which is kind of nice because it changes every day by a little bit.
Right.
And certainly seasonally. If somebody walks up to my door after midnight and the front porch light is off.
Get off my porch!
Which would indicate that I'm in bed.
That would be cool.
I have a story about that, actually. The front porch light won't turn on because you'd expect that, right? People are desensitized to
I'm
that.
going to test it tonight.
My kitchen light will turn on after about 10 seconds. So if the camera detects a person, the kitchen light turns on after a slight delay. So you would think then it's like, oh shit, someone's awake. I'm going to leave. And hopefully that's what happens.
And they wouldn't think that if the porch light goes on?
Because porch lights are generally on some sort of sensor. So people expect it to turn on, but they don't expect
the burglar would just think you're a wimp and hiding in your kitchen.
No, they'll just think, oh, someone is home. I'm not going to mess with this house. Right. But to your story.
Or you could get a dog.
To your story, I have a video of it somewhere. I'll find it. A friend of mine does the same stuff. He loves this home automation stuff. So he has his setup where if a person is detected on one of the outside cameras, the front doorbell will say, alarm activated. And it'll say that fairly loud. So he sent me a video one day. Somebody in the middle of the night, like 2:00 in the morning, walked onto the driveway and the camera detected the person. The guy goes to open one of the car doors. It fortunately was locked. And before he could get to the next door, the doorbell starts saying alarm activated and the guy bolted. So that was really cool.
But how do you set the sensitivities? So like if somebody's walking their dog or whatever.
Well, so for him, he had just, with the cameras, you set zones.
Yeah, those zones are temperamental though, aren't they?
No, not at all. They're really easy. Like you have a picture of what's visible on the screen. Then you just mark it.
So you set up all this home automation stuff and this whole motherboard thing. How often does it not work?
Rarely.
I'm impressed.
Yeah. And I have a button on I can open my garage right there. Or I can turn my Christmas lights on and off.
Yeah, but that's nothing to do with, like, you can buy a plug and play for that kind of stuff.
You can, but they're all, then you're stuck with their app and their functions.
Right. So the benefit of the way you did it,
you can customize
you made your own app.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah. We don't, anyways.
What does it do in your bathroom?
In my bathroom? What do you mean?
Well, you've got these smart switches and receptacles.
If I walk into the bathroom,
the fan goes on
super high.
Yeah, got it.
For about an hour.
Right.
They do have
toilet does a pre-flush.
Yeah, pre-flush. Yeah, everything. Yeah.
Got it.
Music starts going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, next one. Switched the sink from a double bowl to a single. So this is talking about the kitchen because it says now I can easily wash large pans.
That's a good debate, double bowl versus single bowl.
I don't like single. I like double.
Where do you dry your dishes?
Well,
if you have a single.
Right. Well, you can get countertop ones, but then you're occupying counter space.
Then it looks ugly on your counter.
Yeah. I prefer the double bowl. You can get some where one side's larger than the other. I just think the single bowls are not very efficient because you have to fill it up with so much water.
Well, that's if you do dishes the way you do dishes.
What do you mean? As in by hand? Or are you criticizing the way I do water or do my dishes?
Well, I don't fill up the sink to do dishes.
No, I don't either.
So why are you filling up your sink otherwise?
Oh, I fill up the sink with like 2 inches of water and soap. And then I shut off the water because I'm trying not to waste water. But if the sink is twice as big, I have to use twice the amount of water just to get that 2 inches of water.
Right. So what I'm saying, that's if you do dishes like that.
How do you do dishes? You leave the water running?
I fucking rinse them and put them in the dishwasher.
Okay, but some things you don't put in the dishwasher.
But yes, I rinse them, shut the water off, soap each dish, and then rinse them all off one by one.
To me, that seems wasteful.
How is it wasteful? I'm probably using less water than you.
Well, we should measure it.
Okay, let's do it. We'll have a sink off.
Okay. Okay, next one. I'm curious now how everyone does their dishes because I want to know how you and I compare. Biggest bang for your buck. This is a little one again.
I can understand if you're filling your sink with soap and water to let the dishes soak.
Right. No. Biggest bang for your buck.
You know what your problem is? You need a better soap.
No, my soap is excellent.
Well, then you need a better squishy thing to soap your dishes with.
No, I probably use a fraction of the amount of soap you do.
Sink off.
Biggest bang for your buck is a big magnetic knife rail in the kitchen, $17.99, and 2 screws.
Yeah, that's great. I can see my kids reaching for the knives now.
Yeah. Well, I have a knife block on the kitchen counter, and it's never been an issue.
I don't like those magnetic strips for knives because if by chance you put something on your counter and you hit one of those knives,
It
like
falls off.
as soon as it like just touches that knife, it's
gone.
very easy for it to fall off.
I can see that.
Those are dangerous.
This person may have just installed it.
Right.
Which is
Come back to us in a year.
Yeah. Which is I hate when people leave reviews like a day after they bought a new product.
Yeah.
Like leave a review in 6 months.
Right.
Okay. Foam insulated attic. Immediately saw a difference in temperature upstairs, especially in the summer when my second floor was pushing the high 80s while the AC was running. Yeah, if you're an older home,
Improved
you plan to be there for a
insulation is
while.
always good.
It's a good idea.
Yep.
Here's another little one. Slow closing toilet seats.
Oh, we got one for our office.
I know. I use it a lot.
It's the best thing.
It's great.
Robbie loves it.
Do you love it, Robbie? You've expressed that? Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, I would agree. Because in my house, only one toilet has it. And I appreciate when I use that one.
Right. Is that your basement?
It is. The other toilets are getting old, but they still work. Although you can buy just the toilet seat too.
The cover.
The cover.
The seat and cover.
Instead of replacing the whole
Right.
thing. If you were considering
they're expensive, eh? The toilet seats?
I wouldn't know. I haven't looked.
Yeah, they're like $60, $70. That's why for here, I was originally, when we moved into this space, just going to replace the
whole toilet.
The seat.
Oh,
the
because
seat
it
cover.
was dated. It fades, starts to look yellow, whatever.
Yeah, it looked like somebody hadn't been cleaning that thing very well for a while.
Yeah.
And there was no way I was going to keep it.
Well, I mean, they do discolor and get weird over time.
So I was going to replace it, but it was like $70, $80 to replace.
Yeah. So we got it. So we spent a few hundred instead.
Yep. Whole new toilet.
If you were considering planting a
elongated toilet, by the way.
I don't know if I'm a fan of those. They're not bad. I don't like the taller ones.
You don't see the same dribble.
Maybe.
Are you seeing what was it, Ian?
No, don't talk about that. It's disgusting. This is not appropriate for this podcast. If you
splatter.
I'll
let Ian fill it in.
Okay, moving on to the next one. If you were considering planting a tree, we've talked about this many times, do it as soon as possible. No less than a year after living there. It doesn't take long we planted trees that were maybe, I don't know how tall were they when we planted them, 7 feet.
The ornamental pear trees?
Mm-hmm. I have one that's still struggling to grow, but
yeah, because they were just over the roof line or the fence line.
And now they're over the roof line.
Now they're well over the roof line.
Which was 9 years ago.
7 years ago.
Yeah, so they grow really quick.
8 years ago.
So no better time to plant a tree than today. Next one, whole house water filter. It's amazing to take a shower and have clean, odorless water pouring down your face.
Where do you live?
Hang on. Flushing the toilet and not having the smell of chemicals. I mean, the smell of the water is the least of my concerns when I'm in the washroom taking a dump. And your tap water being nearly as good as spring water.
Can't talk about splatter. Can talk about a dump. Where
the words you chose for that other thing just are disgusting.
Where do you live that your shower water smells that bad?
Our water, I think we're accustomed to it. It more often than not, if you really pay attention, it can have a very chlorinated smell.
Yeah.
Like
Doesn't
my
smell
brother,
like a swamp.
no, but it can smell. This person specifically said of smell of chemicals, right? And I drink tap water, and
We all do in some way, shape, or form.
it originates from the tap, sure. My brother came down from Huntsville once, and he commented, he's like, "Oh, it smells like I'm drinking chlorine."
Yeah, but he's used to lake water probably, or well water.
Well water, yeah, which is very different.
I do agree, though, that filtration systems as a whole in any home is a good idea.
Air and water.
Air and, yeah, well, what else are you going to filter?
I'm sure we can find something.
Yeah. Air, like a whole home air filtration. There's a lot of HEPA filtration now that is actually very affordable.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, upgrade your water system. So whether that, depending on where you live, whether it's a UV, well, I installed the UV and HEPA filter at the cottage.
You still won't drink it though.
I have.
Oh, have you?
I have. I was worried I was going to shit my pants, but I tried it and we were good.
It's probably cleaner than this water. You should do a test.
Yeah. It's okay. I mean, yeah.
It's a psychological thing.
Maybe.
Okay, next one. Doesn't apply to us so much, but I would love to have this. An 8-inch thick steel reinforced above ground tornado shelter. I'd like a below ground like atomic bomb shelter, like Armageddon style, end of the world shelter with, enough oxygen for 6 months to a year, a food supply. I would feel very comfortable with that.
Well, tornado shelters are actually big in, the southern states.
This person lives in Dixie Alley, which is
I'm supposed to know where that is.
Gets a lot of twisters. Well, I don't know either. I'm just saying that's what this area is called. They get a lot of twisters. Speaking of which, Twister 2 is coming out very soon. I don't know if that's what it's called, but I'm looking forward to seeing it. Twisters. Was the first one Twister? That's funny. Should be a good movie. Next.
Was that with Helen Hunt?
I think so.
The original?
Blonde woman. I think it might have been Helen, yeah. I think it's the last movie I saw her in. Put an outlet inside a bathroom drawer. No more hairdryer or straightener cords laying around.
Yeah, the only challenge with that is it doesn't meet code.
Right.
And if you leave something plugged in and you close that drawer, if it heats up in there, you're claiming insurance if they will even if they'll even pay out, because
who knows? Insurance companies sometimes will look for reasons.
So the workaround, I think I've told you this before, is you have to put a switch that when the door closes, that switch cuts the power to that receptacle completely.
But I would wonder how that
works. And I don't even know if that will meet code. And then you're supposed to have, I believe, some sort of air ventilation. Yeah.
Well, I wonder how it would work on a drawer. Whereas, like, if I opened an inch, would it then enable the outlet to work? Because that's
once the actuator is
whatever. I guess maybe you can install it at a certain point, so it has to be open all the way.
But those are great in the kitchen too.
Yeah, great for like coffee stations and getting some small appliances off the counter, but still having them plugged in and readily available.
Right.
It's a great idea. The next one.
How long before you think we see the wireless charging countertops become a more standard feature?
Probably when they can figure it out and get it to actually work. They never work. The one beside my bed works 80% of the time. The one on our desk here hardly works. I have a case on my phone, mind you, so I'm sure that it affects it.
I'm talking about the countertops where it's built into the counter.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm just saying in general, those things are finicky.
Right.
So they do make them. I've seen them.
Yeah,
I've researched them because I thought about making something with it. It's on my list of things to make.
Right. Maybe in your closet.
In my closet or a bedside table with it in there.
Yeah.
Next one, you might like this, a backyard sauna. It's amazing and pretty simple to build. Oh, I know you're not building it.
Are you saying that because I've been researching saunas?
Or if you don't want to DIY, you can buy them from Costco.
Costco has great sauna options.
Yeah.
Yeah, the LED, the infrared ones, pretty remarkable what you can get for relatively low cost.
Well, and saunas are among the few things, like, people talk saunas and cold dips and stuff. Cold dips aren't really proven medically to do anything yet, officially. Saunas are. They're like one of the few things that are. And it's something like if you go in a couple times a week for 15 to 20 minutes, your all-cause mortality is reduced by something significant, like 25%.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's a worthwhile investment. A bidet. I really want one. We've talked about that. I've never used one, but I'm sure I would enjoy it.
I shower after every number 2, so I don't have to worry about a bidet.
How is that possible?
I have a great routine.
You never take a dump at work?
Like extremely seldom.
I'm almost daily.
I really?
Why do you think we need more toilet paper?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, Jen ordered toilet paper, by the way. Oh crap, she says.
Yeah, I don't know if I wouldn't be able to. I've never tried timing it in such a way that I would have the luxury of bathing afterwards.
My body is a well-oiled machine. I wake up, the coffee gets things going.
I heard recently that if you're relying on coffee to get things going, then you have further issues of constipation.
I can't claim such a problem.
All right. Next is a steam shower. Also something I've considered.
I'd love to have a steam shower, a little eucalyptus oil in there. Get your pores opened up. Give yourself a good scrub.
Well, especially if you're like, Alicia.
Do you exfoliate?
I have an exfoliating bar of soap. So yes, sometimes.
An exfoliating soap bar is not a true exfoliation.
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
So I'm going to say no if
right.
that doesn't count. So Alicia, my wife, has asthma. So things like a steam shower would come in handy. And if she gets sick and she gets worked up or her asthma is acting up, a steam shower would be very helpful. But I think it's probably also similarly to a sauna, has similar effects, and I imagine is good for you in general.
Yeah, certainly good for your skin.
So that sums up the Reddit list of things people did that they did not regret at all in their house. Is there anything you can think of you would add? Oh, I can think of one.
In my home specifically, or just in general?
From your experience selling houses, being in and out of houses. Yeah.
So, the heated floors in the bathrooms are a must to me. Like if I was redoing a bathroom now, it doesn't matter which bathroom, what floor it's on, heated floors in a bathroom are a definite for me. They're not that expensive to install. They're not that expensive to run. That wasn't the case 10 years, 15 years ago. Now, I think they're pretty good. Smaller things, and it might be very common now, but Wi-Fi thermostat, wouldn't be able to live without that now. Same thing. I know you don't have the Nest Protect. I have them,
but I like them.
Yeah, I have them throughout our home and at the cottage. And
so for people that aren't aware of what that is, it's the smoke and carbon monoxide detector.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it runs its own checks to make sure that everything is good.
Can also act as a nightlight.
It has a nightlight feature, which is great. So when you pass by it, it senses that and it puts a nice glow. So you can, it's kind of like a pathway light almost.
Well, some other neat features with it, I know this just from reading, so you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it can detect the difference between a mild level of smoke, which may be occurring because you're just cooking, versus something that's more severe, and it can give you a warning versus just blowing your ears off with an alarm.
Right. Yeah. So it basically, if it senses a little bit of smoke and it's it could be you're making something in the kitchen and there's a little bit of smoke, whatever. It'll say, heads up, there's smoke.
Right. And then you can go wave.
You can wave it off, push the button or stop it from your app.
Instead of having to get a ladder and pushing a button.
And
or standing there with a kitchen towel going like this.
Kitchen towel, yeah, the old school way. And then it has varying degrees. And if there is a significant amount of smoke, it'll just go right to the alarm.
Right.
And then anything in between. So it does give you that peace of mind and flexibility. It's convenient.
The only thing I would add to the list that I can think of offhand is a frost-free hose bib.
Oh, yes.
Because then you don't have to shut your valves off all the time.
Yeah, they're awesome. Don't have to worry about shutting it off, turning it on. If you own investment properties...
That would be a no-brainer for me. One of the first things I do.
Right.
Because then you're not relying on tenants to maintain the house properly.
Oh, maybe we should offer that as a service at some point to all of our property.
It's a good idea.
Property managed properties.
My renty.
Oh, you see?
That sums it up for me today.
If keyless entry in your front door if you don't have it.
Oh, I do. Fingerprint. I love it.
Yeah.
I don't have to get my keys out.
Yeah.
It's very handy.
It's a huge one.
Yeah, I agree.
There you go. All right. So next week we'll get into the juicy stuff.
The big regrets.
The regrets. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sometimes costly.
Yeah. All right. See you then.
Ciao.
Bye.
Thanks for watching or listening to this episode of KT Confidential. We would love to hear from you to find out what your favorite upgrades were. So leave a comment and let us know.